Hi, Noelle.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? I like your jewelry.
I'm good. Oh, thank you. Very turquoise day today.
It's a very turquoise day today. I'm
Yeah,
feeling it from you. In your glasses.
true. I need to look up what turquoise, like the properties of turquoise. I was just very clear when I got dressed. It was interesting.
Uh-huh.
They're changing how I'm getting intuitive signs. I have a jewelry box that Grant made that's basically mounted on the wall. And anyway, I've got a lot of screws and I've got necklaces hanging from the screws. And I
Hmm.
saw the other necklace that was on the same screw as this one, in a similar
Hmm.
color scheme, but very different kind of necklace. And I was like, oh, okay, I haven't seen that one in a long time. And then I
Hmm.
got the yes on this. So that was a little bait
Okay.
and switch. It was interesting.
I looked it up for you.
Oh,
The
thank
name
you.
comes from the French words pierre turquoise, meaning Turkish stones. I had no idea, as it's likely originated from Turkey. Beyond its physical properties, turquoise is associated with healing energy, well, green, that makes sense,
Mhm.
renewal, and rejuvenation. It's been used for centuries to soothe skin conditions and has mental health benefits, including stress relief and depression. Literally, I typed in turquoise meaning. The Energy Muse says it's a healing stone of water. Oh, are you having trouble recognizing or listening to what your body needs to feel your best? Okay, this is so aligned with what we are going to talk about
Thank
today.
you.
This is so effing cool. I love this stuff. Literally, are you having trouble recognizing or listening to what your body needs to feel your best? Is taking care of yourself falling to the bottom of your to-do list? Have you been putting off important appointments or action items related to your well-being? If you need a little help bringing your health and wellness to the forefront, call on your master healer, turquoise crystal.
Wow.
Bum, bum. What are we talking about today? I love it that your body said pick turquoise because I wanted to talk about the book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. That you can't make this shit up.
You really can't.
As Denise Carell says, you cannot make this shit up. I literally was like, okay, let's talk about the Louise Hay book and let's look at all of the. So let's back up. Who is Louise Hay? Do you want to say who she is or do you want me to?
You likely know more about her than I would.
No.
All right, I'll fill in
Anywho,
any gaps I know of. How about that?
okay, I'm going to read the bio that's on the back of the book.
That's the best idea.
Internationally renowned author and lecturer, Louise Hay brings you the beautiful gift edition of her landmark bestseller. Louise's key message in the powerful work is if we are willing to do the mental work, almost anything can be healed. She explains how limiting beliefs and ideas are often the cause of illness and shows how you can change your thinking and improve the quality of your life. So she wrote this book a long time ago because she was raped and then
Oh,
got, or maybe not, okay, she was definitely raped. She got vaginal cancer.
oh gosh.
And that's when she started like putting some things together. And then she was working with HIV and AIDS patients and realized that they all had a very common belief system. And that's when she started putting things together. Hold on, my vagina physically manifested cancer after being abused. These individuals have these thought processes and have they manifested this disease or dis-ease as she would talk about it. So that's like this whole background on her. It's fascinating how she overcame so much and healed her life through thinking you can heal your life. It's her whole concept. This book, if you haven't seen it, and she calls it the gift edition, it's so pretty and fun. I
Mhm.
love it. Look at how pretty just even there's that picture there,
Wow.
or like everything is just really beautifully
Mm.
pictured. So she basically believes that the thoughts that we think create the belief that we live. And if we can change our thoughts, then we can change the life we live. In the midsection of the book, it's called The List. I am healing, I'm healthy, whole, and complete. It's almost like I forgot how to read. So I'm just going to read this to you. As you look through the following list taken from my book, Heal Your Body, see if you can find the correlation between diseases you may have had or are having now and the probable causes I have listed. A good way to use this list when you are having a physical problem is look at the mental cause, see if this could be true for you. If not, sit quietly and ask yourself, what could be the thoughts in me that create this? Repeat to yourself, I am willing to release the pattern in my consciousness that has created this condition. I am
Mm.
willing to release the pattern in my consciousness that has created this condition. Number 3, repeat the new thought pattern to yourself several times. And then 4, assume that you are already in the process of healing. And she says, basically, no matter what you think of the condition, repeat the steps. Okay, so this is how it looks in this edition of the book.
Oh, beautiful.
There's the problem on the left, there's the probable cause in the middle. So, what I thought we could do today, and I'll tell you why this book came up in just a second, is go through anything that is related to our vagina or our sexuality or the conditions that we associate with sexuality, even depression. I think we could look up depression and things like that and talk about what is there correlation to it? What do we think? What do we believe? And then I can also read the new thought pattern. So if someone's sitting here with something and they don't want to go buy the book, hey, you've got us.
Here we are. And here's the older looking version
Yeah.
of the book, which is a simple red and white cover, and there's a bit of a shape of a heart in there. I've had
Mm-hmm.
this book for a long time,
Mm-hmm. I've
and
had this. Yeah.
I've used it as a reference for different body parts like lower back, which is the fear of not being
Yes.
able to support yourself. And that is a very common, whether it's financial, emotional, energetic, that's a common symptom that people have. And it's been so nice when I've talked with somebody who's having that to bring that up and have us recognize it. Because as we all know, once we have an insight about something, it at least gives us something to work with. It's not just a mystery. When there's a name for it, we're like, oh, okay, that's so now let me focus my attention here. Now that's been brought to my attention. Love this.
And the opposite of it too is someone putting up a card in front of you like that and saying, oh, is this actually fit with you? And then if you
Yes.
don't fit with it, then there's usually something that pops up.
Hmm.
Like, no, it's this. And you're like, what? Where did you, where, what took you so long? Like, where have you been with those answers? So
Yeah.
actually the back thing, I figured that out before ever finding this book.
Did
Every single time I had a financial stressor, my back would just go crazy. I was like, what is that? And I put it together. Hold on, that's related. And so then when I eventually got this book, I went straight to it. I was like, yes.
very nice.
So let me tell you why I'm telling you or why this book came up. For going on 3 months now, I have had an
Oh,
uncontrolled UTI. Now, I am managing it with a probiotic, a pretty strong probiotic in the morning. I would say managing loosely. I still get cramping. I still get urges to pee. I still get pain towards the end of the day, like almost fatigue just sets in, and my body's screw you. I can't fight it anymore. You're just going to have to deal with it. So I went and saw my doctor a couple weeks ago for just an overall. It's a new PCP, and I got an overall take. And I said I'm really concerned about this because it's been resistant to two pretty strong antibiotics. And I don't take. Quite antibiotic naive. I was not a child raised with antibiotics. Quite naive. So it's very shocking that these two didn't get rid of it. And he said you have kidney stone history. I said, yeah, I'm going to get you a kidney ultrasound. I want to see if there's a small kidney stone in there that's hanging on to bacteria.
oh
And
gosh.
that's why you can't get rid of it because you still, I was itching myself. Did you see what I was just doing? I was like hugging myself, but I was trying to itch my shoulders if anyone was wondering what I was doing. And for all of you just listening, I'm so sorry. So he said, we're just going to go check that out. We'll see because it hangs on to bacteria. I was like, no problem. And he said, and also with your history, let's just do it anyway.
Mhm.
Great. Because I had 7 kidney stones by the time I was like 22. Yeah.
Wow.
Graced with my father's problems,
Oh, gosh.
challenges, loves. And it's guess what I find out?
What?
I have an 8 millimeter size kidney stone in my left kidney. Okay, that's like Mount Everest in your kidney. That's not right. And so I just kept saying, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. There's something wrong in my body. It's just not right. It's just not right. Now I know. Okay. So then I grabbed my book and I looked up kidney stones. And I remember looking up kidney stones a while ago when I got the book because I was like, oh, you just do that when you get this new book. And you're like, oh, I want to figure everything out. And it says lumps of undissolved anger. And I
Interesting.
thought about my life in my early 20s. Now, kidney stones don't just pop out of the blue, right? Even if it's a millimeter large, it's been in there for what it's been working on it.
Yeah.
So an eight, sometimes I just love myself. Okay, I'm gonna just a second. So we'll finish the in my 20s. There had to have been something going on in my teenage years
Mm.
that caused me to manifest these. Yes, it's familial. Yes, it's genetic, all that, but still. And there was. If I really step back and go, was I angry as a teenager? I wasn't really angry. I was upset. I was angry that people didn't accept me for who I was. I was
Mm.
very much bullied. I was very much picked on. I was very upset that individuals didn't accept me for who I
Gotcha.
was. Okay, boom. 8 years later, whatever, you manifest kidney stones. 8 years ago, there's no thing left. This is an 8 millimeter kidney stone.
Mm-hmm.
Teal is 8 years old.
Oh.
And 8 years ago, seven-ish, I found out that she had a disability and I was angry.
Mm.
I probably still am angry a little bit. You go through the stages of grief when you have a child with a disability. And even though I haven't talked a ton about my daughter, but she is effing amazing. She's unbelievable. She's completely changed my entire world. I would never be sitting here with you. I would never even know you. I would never be a intuitive medium. I would never be any of that stuff
Mm.
if Teal had not raised my energetic vibration. So there's nothing really to be angry about except then I was angry because I was not going to have the life that I wanted. I was not going to have the collegiate volleyball athlete or the collegiate soccer player or maybe I will still. Who knows? She fucking blows my mind. However, the perception, the visual
Mm.
of what my life would be was nothing. It was thrown. The mirror of my life coming back at me was thrown and shattered. That's a good
Yeah.
visual. But that was 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And it's an 8 millimeter kidney stone. That is not lost on me. So, it's lumps of undissolved or anger.
I also want to bring up because I saw the mirror also.
You did.
I did. And I also feel reminded there's that thing about breaking a mirror and then you have 7 years of bad luck.
Bad
So
luck.
something feels tied in. We don't have to be superstitious about the bad luck part,
No,
but the
no.
7 year cycle is sitting with me like there's something about that. 7, 8 year cycle. Wow. I
So
love
the
this.
I
Yes.
know. So it
Yeah.
just really made me start thinking. So the new thought pattern for this is I dissolve all past problems with ease.
Okay.
So if you were to follow her guidance, I would say I'm willing to release the pattern in my consciousness that has created this condition. I dissolve all past problems with ease. Okay, so that's kidney stones. Most of you probably listening do not have kidney stones. So let's move on to something more fun.
I just want to take a moment to say that was also just such a clear example of, again, like insight based information, and that also crossover between the physical reality of being here and the energetic spiritual information that can really support us in this life. There's so many ways that we can cross over all the time, have one foot here, one foot there, and then we're straddling both worlds, which at least in my head, seems like the ideal in some ways, to always be able to keep that like long range perspective of this is a blip instead of getting caught up in the reactivity of things. And now I'm disappointed that I didn't offer you some kind of medical intuition conversation with your, I don't know, kidney or your
We
urinary tract or something
yeah,
that.
we did. We talked
Did
about it
we?
because I thought I do need to sit down and ask my urinary tract what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think, and this is, people are going to maybe roll their eyes. I
Oh, I hope
think I
not.
somewhat knew that it
Hmm.
wasn't UTI based. I
Okay.
actually thought it was something worse. So when
Yeah.
I was watching the kidney ultrasound,
Hmm.
and I'm all, what is that? It was like a big black bulb or
Wow.
sphere. It wasn't three-dimensional, but and my other one didn't have that. And I'm like, huh. And so you know how you casually ask the technician,
Or
oh,
you try.
everything's looking pretty good in there, huh? Yeah, any insight? And she says, very straight faced, your doctor will be in touch with you in a day or two. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And so I
Yeah.
rephrased it like, well, yeah, but the doctor will be, but I, even before the ultrasound, I thought it might have been something bigger. So truthfully, an kidney stone, dude, we can handle that.
Yeah.
We can deal with that. That's amazing. Way different than maybe some of the other shit that I'd started fear-based manifesting, which we're not manifesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't think a conversation with my UTI would, the long story of that is intuitively, I think I'm like, it's not really the UTI. Is it,
Gotcha. No, it would
Yeah.
have been the kidney, but even just connecting all of us when something is going on. And I think my biggest hang up is remembering to do it. And that sounds
To
so stupid,
connect.
but to connect, to ask the questions, a lot of information can flow to us when we're actually asking the right question and we're paying attention to what we receive or feel. Even if it's like a weird intuitive hit, like I was to connect with my body, I forget what part, and I just see calcium. It's happened twice. I haven't really looked into it or gotten tested about my level of calcium. I take calcium, so I need to, when I have a few minutes, check in. Okay, too much, too little. Other sources you're encouraging me to have. So we can get like a hit. And then we just want to look into that more and not make any assumptions about what that means because it'd be easy to say, oh, I must need more calcium. But I upped my calcium months ago. It might be too much.
Might be too much. And the other thing that they just said to me was it might be that you need to have a counter food to absorb the calcium.
Oh.
So I think vitamin C is associated with calcium. Check
Hmm.
that out
Yeah.
because that's what hit me.
Thank
It
you
wasn't
for
the
that.
amount of calcium, it was
The ability
the
to absorb it.
ability absorption. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So, yeah, of course. Shall we dive in?
Please.
Should we start with the vagina one?
Oh, I think we need to.
Okay. So we could start with vaginitis, which is swelling of the vagina, which I would assume would make it hard to have intercourse. Irritation.
Mm-hmm.
Itis means swelling. And then we can go to female problems. Okay, so I'll read this. Oh, goodness gracious. Anger is a common theme here.
Wow.
Vaginitis, probable cause, anger at a mate, sexual guilt, punishing the self
Oof.
so that you can't have pleasure. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if we
Wow.
associate a vagina, our vagina with pleasure, then punishing the self wouldn't allow you to get in there. You'd close it off. Oh, interesting. Anger at a mate,
Wow.
sexual guilt, or punishing the self. So here's you want your new thought pattern. Others mirror, again, can't make this shit up. Others mirror the love and self-approval I have for myself. I rejoice in my sexuality. I need to just say that on my own. Others
Wow.
mirror the love and self-approval I have for myself. I rejoice in my sexuality.
I'm
And
getting a little,
we're done here.
we're done. Pen drop, mic drop. And for some reason, right now, I'm actually feeling a signal that I get from either my daughter in spirit from a previous life or my pussycat. But I get a signal in a little rubbing sensation on the bottom part of my left shoulder blade, very specific area.
And what do you think that's telling you?
I'm asking.
Mm.
So it's White Feather, who's my daughter from
Mm.
a different life.
It's the first time you've
Um,
talked about her.
really?
I've never heard of White Feather.
I've talked about her on my other podcast,
And what's that other
and
podcast called?
it's through the Podcast Business News Network, and it's under my name.
Oh, okay.
There's a
Then we'll be.
video version on my YouTube channel, and that would be the best place to actually find it. And that's with my YouTube channel, Connecting with Noelle. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
And
What?
uh,
Yeah, White Feather.
yeah, thank you. You're getting to know me so well. I got lost.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait, thank you.
I'm
I'm
like, I'll
found.
bring you back. Let's go.
Yes. You know what? She signaled me through a song that just wouldn't stop playing and got louder as I was trying to go to sleep one night. And I was like, screw it. Let me come down and do some automatic writing or channel writing and see who this is. And we met. And it was amazing. And actually, that was probably right around the time it was a little bit after we started doing the podcast.
Oh,
And
so
what I
she's
got from
new.
her, I can't believe I didn't mention her.
I feel so left out.
I'm so sorry. And I love you. I didn't do it on purpose. But I believe from what she's shared with me that why she's coming in now is that in a previous life, this is all very related to the stuff we talk about here. In a previous life, I was her mother and I had been, I forget the word, but overly sexualized. We were in a native community and I had been passed around as a young woman
Mm.
and had some real damage to my way of being because of that. And then I have this beautiful little daughter and we love music together and we dance. And when I'm with her, I'm very connected to her and I protected her without being controlling so that she didn't have the same kind of experience that I had. And she grew up to be this confident, stunning person who was happy and felt good about herself. And she made a commitment to me that when I was going to heal that energy of this of sexual trauma, not just my own, but lineage energy, she was going to come and help me. And that's why she showed up recently, is that is part of what she is here for.
And you are doing the work. And she showed up.
She showed up.
Oh, white feather, I love you. Thanks for popping in.
And since we met, often, you know, I get feathers all the time when I go for walks or whatever, but there are times when I've gotten way more white feathers than I've ever gotten. And often I get unique ones. Like it's got a little brown dot here. Wow, I don't have that. And I've got hundreds of feathers.
I know you
So
do.
some are the beautiful, lush white ones, but I often get these interesting little unique ones.
Oh,
And then I
look how
know
pretty
it's
that
her
one
for
is.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's
I
my white
love
feather.
it.
So it's her or the cat.
I'm assuming it's white feather. Makes
But it's
perfect
her. It's
sense.
her right now. Yeah.
Considering we're talking
Yeah.
about.
About vaginas.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for showing up, White Feather. And sorry, I was going to ask if she had anything to contribute, and I'm getting not yet.
Okay.
So we'll see which comes up.
Okay. Should we go to female problems?
Please. And your book is set up differently from mine, and yours sounds much more user friendly,
Okay.
and mine is in Oh, and just as I say that, thank you. I opened to the chart. Never
Okay. Good.
mind.
Never mind.
It's not in the middle of my book. It's towards the end, but it's wonderful to find it. So thank you. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So female problems. Here's the probable cause. Actually, let me ask you. Are you reading it now?
You know what? And my information is limited, so we're just going to have to go with your book.
Okay. What do you think? So let's do this. What would we associate female problems with? What emotion? I'm seeing
Well,
like a constriction.
female problems could be a lot of things. It could be related to childbirth, to
Mm.
sexual trauma, to feeling comfortable being a woman and the part that makes you a woman. So there is a lot to it. And I can see constriction and, yeah, falling into this fear and self-protection mode.
Okay, this leads me to the next one. Female problems, denial of self, rejecting femininity,
Mhm.
rejection of the feminine principle, like an overall, like having a,
Hmm.
if you do, maybe if you look at your life and you're like, yeah, I have a lot of feminine problems. I've got breast issues, or I've got a UTI, or I have like these three things all line up. Maybe there is an overall concept of, am I pushing away my femininity, which for a lot of women in our world, the last 20, 30 years has been very much about be the hard worker, show more of that male side of you, don't be soft. Look at just the two female candidates that we had over the last few years. Hillary Clinton, not to go political, I'm just making observations. Hillary Clinton didn't even want to say that she baked cookies for her kids and certainly wouldn't hug or cry on stage. And yet now you've got a much different character woman on stage who is willing to say, yes, I am a mom. I am mamala. I am. Yeah, it's just such a flip, right? So interesting. New thought pattern. I rejoice in my femaleness. I love being a woman. I love my body. Oh, I need to say all of these. I love my sexuality. I love being a woman. I love my body. I rejoice in my femaleness.
Wow. That's a beautiful mouthful.
Yeah.
I also feel compelled to say that it could be also that for those of us that find ourselves in a lot of situations where we feel violated in some way, shape, or form, mainly by women. It's common for
Women
us,
not
we could say
supporting
that
women.
women not supporting women, sometimes doing terrible things to other women, that you could be somebody, and I feel like this is going to apply to some people that hear this, that can relate to that you had stuff to work out around women specifically. And so your own coming into this life, choosing to be a woman, and then like rejecting other women or feeling rejected by other women, that's a whole thing about femaleness that is, an aside from the sexuality part of it. Yeah.
So you mentioned birth. Then it popped into my head miscarriage. Because you said constriction, or I said constriction and then fear. Because you right after you said that, you said fear. Fear of the future. Not now, later. Inappropriate timing. That's all of those things do fear of the future, not wanting something right now, living in the past,
Hmm.
inappropriate timing. So the thoughts that we can say, divine right action is always taking place in my life. I love and approve of myself. All is well.
Hmm.
I have a rock right here on my desk. Let me read it for you. Whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Isn't that a nice rock?
Yeah.
Hello, rock. I've missed you. Hmm. But yeah, you can think of abortion too. And again, that's not to condemn abortion. It's more of saying, hey, not you really are saying, no,
Yeah.
not now. And then right above that is menstrual problems, which they also have amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea, and female problems. Rejection of one's femininity, guilt, fear. There's a lot of that going on. Anger, fear, guilt. Belief that the genitals are sinful or dirty. So that could be very religious based, having strong cramps or menstruation problems.
Interesting. Hmm.
I accept my full power as a woman and accept all of my bodily processes as normal and natural. I love and approve of myself. Do you like being a woman?
There are times, not that I would like to be a man, but there are times when I feel I would feel much safer walking around in the world not having a vagina and
Mm.
being physically weaker than the other gender. That's kind of it. And if I'm in a really scuzzy bathroom,
You do sit down,
I do
don't you?
have a moment of,
I hover.
we talked
I'm a
about
peeing
this. Yeah.
hoverer.
So then I could see it being convenient to have a penis, but that's about
Yeah.
it. How about
Or
you?
outdoor peeing. I'm an
Oh,
outdoor peer too, but still
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
easier when we were just fishing this last week and I had my waders on because we were literally fishing in the water, fly fishing.
Mm.
And I had to get out of the water, which as one does when they pee typically. And I had to get like everything off of me, my back support, my walking stick, my net, my belt, my waders. And I'm like, oh, it'd be so much easier if I could just whip out my penis. But I've never really had the man, I wish I was a man feeling. And I think some women do. I think I've been blessed to not work in industries that I felt objectified. I had a client objectify me once for way too long. And after that, I said, that'll never happen again.
Mm.
Actually, it happened twice. No, thank you. You are not going to treat me like anything other than just a human being, an
Yeah.
equal. Yeah. But I don't know. And I think I'd like us to get better at celebrating the female form because when you said physically not as strong, I actually had this reaction in me that was like, oh no, we are
Mm.
so much stronger. We just aren't lifting the car stronger or lifting the weights stronger. I do think physically we handle pain better. Pros and cons, pros and cons. We handle pain better. I feel like we are. Why would someone call you a pussy? That's one of the strongest things in the entire world.
And more in the context of I can be a bit paranoid. So
Mhm.
I just met up with a friend at a park where there's a trail and there's a stream and it was such a nice place, but it's a slightly remote, not really, but slightly, and enough for me to be like, so you walk here alone? Because
Uh-huh.
that's what I mean. If I feel vulnerable, like to attack or mugging or whatever it
Correct.
is, that's the kind of weak that I'm referring to that I
Yeah.
wish I didn't feel. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that's very natural, though. I don't necessarily associate that to I'm trying to think of the right, I'm asking for the right word because it doesn't feel weak to me and it doesn't feel inferior. It simply feels like opportunity. So, not, it's a bad opportunity. It's like someone taking advantage of an opportunity is strength. And so, a woman walking alone in the woods, someone else is taking that opportunity, and that's strength. Does that make sense? No.
I'm not getting that.
In other
Sorry.
words, they're taking an opportunity that they saw to overcome a female because the female was walking alone in the woods and they were stronger. But if I had a gun in that moment, then I would be stronger.
Fair enough. Weaponry would help. And I'm sure
Right.
there are men that I am physically stronger than. So, not like it's all to be
Yeah.
overly generalizing. Just this is what comes up for me
Well,
around
and
that.
and
So,
it's natural. I cross the street in a street if I'm walking towards a man and it's at night and I'm alone.
yeah. Oh,
I will
yeah.
cross the street. Goodbye. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care if you're tall. I don't care if you're fat. I don't care if you're lanky. I don't care. I will cross the street away from you. Nope.
Yeah.
Not even going to give you an opportunity. Okay, back to the book. What other ones do you want to look at?
How about breasts?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Here we go. This is why we should do live shows. Send in what you want to hear about. Okay.
Mm.
Breasts. The probable cause is it represents mothering and nurturing and nourishment. A new thought pattern I take in and give out nourishment in perfect balance. Now, breast problems, a refusal to nourish the self, putting everyone else first, over mothering, over protection, overbearing attitudes. Oh, I have a thought about this. I am important. I count. I now care for and nourish myself with love and with joy. I allow others the freedom to be who they are. We are all safe and free. What hit me, I wonder if we will start seeing a decrease in breast cancer. Think about the 50s, the 60s, 70s. There wasn't a lot of self care talk. Even the 90s, there wasn't a lot of self care talk. There wasn't a lot of, it's okay to put yourself first. It's
Mhm.
okay to take that break. It's okay to say, I need some space from you. It's okay to love yourself, to nourish yourself. Wonder if we'll start seeing a decline.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Hope.
Definitely. And part of that is also going to be in our increasingly stimulating culture
Mm,
to find a better balance. So,
hmm.
self-care, sleep, rest, creativity, catharsis, and then also truly lifestyle, not just when we're in the mode of self-care.
Right. Lifestyle care.
Yeah, lifestyle care.
I just wanted to look up sleep because that's a,
Oh, that's a good one. And another thing that a lot of women have trouble with, and when we're menopausal, that tends to get turned up sometimes.
okay, so interesting. They have snoring.
Oh, yeah, I see snoring. Oh,
But they don't,
interesting.
and they have
Okay.
slipped disc, but they don't have sleep problems. What would that be? Like apnea? What would be another word for sleep problems?
Insomnia?
Thank you. Someone's listening and they're like, really? It's called insomnia? Obviously, you don't have
Poor
it.
thing, you're so tired you can't even think of the word.
Insomnia. Huh, shock. Here it is. Fear. Dude, my overall take on this is we need to not be fearful anymore. Fear, not trusting the process of life. Guilt.
Oh.
Insomnia, fear, not trusting the process of life, and guilt. Okay, new thought pattern. I lovingly release the day and slip into peaceful sleep, knowing tomorrow will take care of itself. That
Oh.
nice to say before you go to sleep. I lovingly release the day and slip into a peaceful sleep, knowing tomorrow will take care of itself.
How about we all take in the idea? Jen's mouth is agape with the profoundness of all of that, in case you're not seeing the video of this. And we hear this, I certainly hear this in lots of places where I listen to things about helping myself and healing myself, is about those moments right before we fall asleep and
Mm-hmm.
what we do with our mind and the kinds of things we think about. So taking on, adding some or some amalgamation of all of these things we're talking about and
Mhm.
whatever feels right to you to add that. And I also want to add, I love that in the book that she was saying, this is a description of the area that you're having the problem and potential root cause of that or emotional root cause. But if that doesn't work for you, sit with what actually does. Because I remember hearing something with Carolyn Mace, who does medical intuition, and she was very against people making gross generalizations of everybody with knee
Yes.
problems, everybody with this, because you just can't operate that way. You just
No,
can't.
no.
So asking for yourself is a
Hmm.
great idea.
Or going a step further and just asking the location, asking the problem.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's a
And
whole nother, that's just like, that's what we talked about earlier. It's just take it a step further if you're comfortable with that.
if you're comfortable with that, and that could also be just a thought, if you really wanted to have a conversation with a kidney or a knee or your body, you can connect with somebody. If you don't do it for yourself or you don't do it easily, you can connect with a medical intuitive. You can connect with a medium and ask them. Mediumship, there's just this stereotype that mediumship is just talking to quote dead relatives. And it's so much bigger than that. And this would be a beautiful area, even if the medium is, I'm sorry, I don't really do that. You could
You
just
just
see if they'll
try.
try,
Hmm.
because it's easy to think you have a niche and that's your area. But if you let yourself have an open mind, there's so much more.
Well, and also it's hard to read yourself.
Oh, it is. And look, if you have fear, like when you were starting to get some fear of something big was really happening,
Mm.
it would be almost impossible to get a clear answer because all of that emotional static makes it hard to pick up on stuff. I think the readings for yourself are just the hardest.
Discernment is so tricky when you've got
Yeah.
heavy emotions going on. Okay, we're going to end on this. We shouldn't really end on this one, but since it's personal, I think this is hilarious.
You're going to say the
Urinary
anus, aren't you?
infections. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
let's go
sorry.
anus next.
No,
Let's end on anus.
but let's
Urinary infections,
please.
but
Yeah.
hold on. Pissed off is the first one.
Okay.
And then pissed off. Isn't that funny?
I can get that.
But the kidney problems was anger related too. So very interesting.
Mm.
Okay, so pissed off, usually at an opposite sex or a lover, blaming others. I release the pattern in my consciousness that created this condition. I'm willing to change. I love and approve of myself. So now I will tell you that one does not resonate with me much. The other
Okay.
ones, when I read them, I was like,
Mhm.
ooh. So again, I think it's more of the urinary tract infection is just a secondary cause to really what was going on. All right. You want me to go to anus?
You can. I just thought you were going to entertain yourself with that.
I
Here's
think
just
it's
a thought,
funny.
Jen, is
Mm,
since you're sharing with us about all of this and gaining these insights, whether it's while you're still dealing with the UTI or maybe when it's resolved, it would be wonderful for you to connect with your body, or I can help you do that, or you have plenty of friends who do mediumship, and
hmm.
actually get the story from your body about what the hell happened here,
Yeah.
what and why. There's also the passing of your dad that just happened.
Hmm.
So that could be contributing to all of this.
Dad
There's,
had kidney stones.
yeah. And you were saying
Hmm.
that you have a lot of his genetic material.
Hmm.
So just wondering, because there can be so many layers to
Hmm.
everything that we experience. It just a thought,
Hmm. I like it. I do want to laugh. Anus is
please.
releasing point dumping ground.
We're very middle school
I
right
am
now,
such a
laughing at
child.
anus stuff, but yeah.
Such a child. But if you are having anal issues, I am very sorry because wow. Um, I
Hmm.
easily and comfortably release that which I no longer need in my life. That does make sense. I'm so
Well,
sorry.
and look,
I'm
we can
such a
giggle
kid.
about anus because it's funny. Just the word is funny to say. But
Exactly.
look, constipation, that's an issue that people have.
Oh, it is.
And it's in my family actually to have this sort of low lying chronic, yes, so not fun. So not
No.
fun.
But
Being
again,
able to release.
anger,
Yeah.
releasing toxicity, holding on to garbage of the past, guilt over the
Oh, yeah.
past, guilt, desire for punishment, not feeling good enough. Those relate, huh?
It's just so crazy, like
Hmm.
all these negative feelings and thoughts and how they really do, as we know from the book, the body keeps the score, the body has a memory, our cells hang on to these things. So looking more towards how to heal, bring in positivity. And here's a question. Do you think that when you say, let's say some kind of mantra, like I am good with the world or I am free, I am safe, Do you have to believe that to have that work for you?
You
I
want
didn't
my
say that quite
opinion?
right, but
No, I know
that's what
exactly.
I'm asking. Yeah.
I knew you were going to ask it too. It's
Okay.
very funny. I was like, oh, here we go. And I have a couple minutes. I'm just setting
Yes.
expectations. I got
Oh,
another
yeah.
meeting. Uh, I have an interesting take on this, and it might be controversial. I do believe that in the end, to see benefit, you do have to recreate a belief in your head.
Mm,
I do believe that in order to fully manifest, we have to believe that it's possible.
mm. Okay.
However, I'm also a fan of fake it till you make it because if you believe, Abraham Hicks says, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. It's just a habit. A habit of a
Mm,
thought creates a belief. That's all it is. If you hear over and over as a child that you're worthless, you mean nothing,
mhm,
guess what? You will believe that statement. It didn't happen the first time you heard it. You weren't like, "You're right, I'm worthless 5-year-old." You didn't, but you heard it over 15 years, 10 years, and it became a belief. So it's just a thought you keep thinking. So if that's the case,
mhm,
then if you start actively saying mantras or actively
mhm.
just thinking different thoughts, saying different thoughts, then that thought will become a belief and that belief will then manifest.
I'm buying that. I love that. Thank you. That was really
Yeah.
well put and makes it attainable. There are things about manifestation or other things I'm like, okay, I can have the intention, but what if I don't believe it? And it gets really murky
It
very
does.
quickly. And it feels like a stupid mind game to get stuck in. So that's
Right.
very clear. I love that. And
Yeah.
Abraham
Fake it
Hicks
till you
has
make
so
it a
many
little
words
bit.
of wisdom. Hmm?
Yeah. Fake it till you make it a little bit. I'm okay
Okay.
with that.
Let's all do that together as
All right.
best as we
Not the
can remember.
orgasms. Don't fake the orgasms. Nobody benefits from that.
Yeah, we don't do that. We
No,
shouldn't do that.
no faking of the
Yeah.
orgasms. I just realized we don't want to
Thank you for
fake that.
pointing that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and one last comment. I told someone for my other podcast, I said, "Oh yeah, I have another podcast called Vagina Whispering, and yeah, we connect to body parts and we do vagina readings." And she looked right at me and she said, Do you do that in? Do you actually look at the vagina?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, no." And then of course I was like, "Oh yeah," I said, "We do it on Zoom." Like, no, no, that doesn't help either because I could just see myself getting, okay, take your camera. Okay, now open up. Okay, spread them a little bit more. Hold on, the lighting's bad. Can you get
Oh
closer to the
God.
light? So those are not the types
Wow.
of readings that we're doing. We're doing energetic readings. I only need permission from you to get in there, and I will just get in there energetically.
It just goes to show you that everybody's got a different perspective that never occurred to me for good
She
reason, probably. Anyway, interesting question.
she said, I'm just a very literal person. I'm like, you think?
Yes, you are.
But anyways, there might be a
Wow.
few listeners that are like, "Oh, I'm glad they provided some clarity on that because I was never going to let them read my vagina. No, thank you." And then, oh my gosh, she was like,
I wouldn't have
"Oh
asked.
yeah, you like open up. Oh, you need a little trim in here." Da, 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 da.
Ladyscaping. No.
Yes. All right. I love
Anyway.
you. Thanks for having this
Aw.
conversation.
I love you too. And thank you so much for joining us on Vagina Whispering. Please reach out to us if you have any questions or comments or what the hell are you two talking about? Whatever it is,
Yes.
we'd love to hear from you at vaginawhispering@gmail.com. And we are also on Facebook and Instagram. We're just not active there, but we've got pages. We'll get to it at some point, we promise.
Priorities, man.
Loosely
Priorities.
promise.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
will. Maybe we'll hire someone. And we have actually had quite a few people send us things over email with different ideas. And one of them might be coming up in the near future, just about a
Beautiful.
really unique thing. So never underestimate if you've got a
Hmm.
thought, if you're like, oh, I want to know about this, just shoot us over an idea or a message or anything. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if you want to be a guest, let us know about that too. If you have something related that you want to share about. Yeah, we're a community. So come on, sisters, come in.
Come on,
Come in.
sisters and brothers. All right.
And
Bye.
brothers, bye.
Love you.